Hello, beautiful people of the YouTube world and the internet world. I shouldn't be just so exclusive, whatever. Anywho, hello, happy Sunday. I hope everyone's having a good day so far. I'm gonna start a series called Conspiracies and Cheese. We're gonna taste test cheese while talking about conspiracies. I love conspiracy theories. So we're gonna taste test a few cheeses here. Let me do a quick edit here of what cheeses we're gonna taste because there's some delicious ones. So, got these cheeses, from Aldi's. I love Aldi's. So, if you're interested in trying any of these, head to your local Aldi's and you can find them. But, I was a big disbeliever in Aldi's when they first came out, but when I moved, Aldi's was like the most popular grocery store around here, and I was like, okay, let me give it a try. So I did, and, I ended up really liking it. I got peaches at first, and they were literally the best peaches I've ever eaten in my life. So I slowly, incrementally started trying things and discovered I really like Aldi's. They're delicious. They're amazing. I don't know why I didn't try them sooner, but they're fantastic. So we're going to try their cheese. They have very affordable cheese, and it's good as far as I've tasted. I've tasted better cheeses, of course, like higher quality, whatever. But for the price and whatever, if you want like an affordable charcuterie board or just like a cheese plate for dinner, sometimes I'll do that with cheese and fruit. This is a perfect way to do it. A lot of these cheeses were under $3. So without further ado, here we go. Now I do want to preface this by saying, I grew up Mormon, okay? I've formed my own spiritual beliefs through the time that I've kind of gone on my own road, and especially during the time that I've done my solo journey. So a lot of these might get a little crazy. This is just for fun. I want to start this series off with my personal little conspiracies that I've thought of. And I'm sure some people have also thought of these, but I just want to do that and then talk about ones that we talk about on my podcast, which you can find my podcast on my Twitch. We go do that every Tuesday. I've been kind of burnt out, so I haven't been on for a bit, but nonetheless, I'm going to start getting consistently in the habit of doing Tuesdays for conspiracy theories, and you can join us for that. But without further ado, some cheese and some conspiracies. So the first conspiracy that I want to talk about is one that I've come to terms with because of my health, and we're gonna try this cheese first. So the first one we're gonna try is But First Coffee. I'm excited to try this one, so we're gonna do it first. I love coffee. It says it's rubbed with coffee. It's espresso and lavender. Should be interesting. So once again, I do want to preface this, these theories are a little bit out there, but if you know my journey a bit, you know that I have been doing a parasite cleanse, and with this parasite cleanse, I've come to learn that a lot of my chronic illness symptoms, I'm gonna make these nice and beautiful. Maybe I'll taste test right now. we're just gonna prep these, and then we'll go on. We'll go on. This is how I'm gonna do it. So,
20 minutes later.
So, as I was saying, I recently found out that I have parasites, and I've had rheumatoid arthritis of a very severe kind since I was 6. And it's been pretty disabling for me. I can't really work very well, and most of my time is spent in bed, and most people would think that sounds like a luxury, and it's not. So I want to get out and do things. So I decided to do a parasite cleanse, and thus I've been going into big pharma conspiracy for a while. Since I was about 20, I started learning about food conspiracy and stuff, and I didn't really fully get into conspiracy until about 3 years ago. So I got into it, and the more I got into it, I was able to heal myself, essentially. And from there, most people would be like, oh no, it's all hearsay, whatever the hell. Maybe, but if it works, is it really? So I got into it because of my health. Like, my health was not good. It still is not the greatest, but I'm getting better because of these things. So I'm trying to figure out what is the best way. Oh, there's sugar in this. Oh no. Yeah. So through my holistic healing, slowly realized a lot of these conspiracy theories are pretty dang real. So I want to talk about a few that I've formed with my illness specifically. Specifically the parasite cleanse that I've been doing. Now, from what I've learned, oh my god, this is smelly. Whew. It is a smelly cheese. From what I've learned, with this parasite cleanse, right, is that about 80% of, head it this way, 80% of, like that scene from Kendall Jenner where she's fucking cutting the cucumber. I'm trying to get it for the camera's sake though. Maybe that's what she was doing. Okay, so back to this parasite conspiracy. My belief, to get around to it, is that why people brought over parasites. And they've been in America for years. And the people know, big pharma people know, and they use it to genetically modify people and put more parasites into us, even on a microbial level, that genetically modifies our DNA for us to be more aggressive or submissive or lack something that, like, say our human bodies right now have a barrier that prevents like a certain frequency getting to us. They would give us a vaccine that would mutate our DNA to where we would no longer have that block on that receptor that receives whatever frequency. Now that's just like whatever, that's just shenanigans. That's fun to think of, like it's not truth or anything, but it makes me wonder that, because when I look at the way the US is, the higher class, and also let's try some more cheese. How about some smoked pepper jack cheese? I love pepper jack. My favorite, one of my favorites. Smoked pepper jack. Smells delicious. Okay. For a pepper jack, it's pretty mild, not very spicy. Squeaky cheese, if you heard that. There's no hot kick, and I'm not one for spicy, so if I'm saying it's not spicy, it's definitely not spicy. for cheese, you know, I don't really get much of it. It's a hint of smokiness, very hint, like very subtle. You can smell it more than anything. Tastes good though. For like a smoked cheese, yeah, definitely like a 7. For a smoked pepper jack, like a 4. It's not very pepper jacky, and that's one thing I've noticed with a lot of pepper jack cheese. What happened to the pepper, Jack? Not that. So anyway, with these parasites, I think somehow that they've been brought over some shit, and it makes me wonder, like I said, because 80% of Americans have parasites. So the government knows this, like they all know this, like they're just, and my doctor wouldn't know this, so they're just giving you medicine that allows the parasite to fester and to continue its lavish life in there. And these parasites can impact like your anger levels, if you're a guy, your testosterone levels, if you're a girl, your hormone levels, and it can impact your gut health. So then you think you have IBS, or like you think you have this and that, and you don't, you just have a parasite. But they don't teach this knowledge, but the people know, like the people in charge, they know. And they use that to their advantage. So it's literally like a zombie outbreak in a sense, but of a parasite that's within us. And like if they give us the right virus and it mutates that parasite, like who knows, you know? Who knows what would happen? You don't know. So there's my conspiracy theory with that. It's very loosely based. There's no fact to it really, except for the parasite thing about 80% of Americans. Like that I looked up on Google. And all the ways parasites can impact you, that's true. But do I know if parasites came with Columbus? I don't know. But you know, back then, them boys were dirty as fuck. Boys don't even wash their booty now, so you know they weren't washing their ass back then. Christopher? You think Christopher was washing his ass? He had to literally enslave women to be with them. Speaking of Christopher Columbus, this fool literally had the hots for manatees. Like, he was seduced by their knees. I'll have to find an excerpt on that. But anyway, we're gonna try another cheese. I forgot I was gonna do this one first, but I guess we're not. The coffee one. It smells good. It's kind of giving Parmesan smell. I'm not sure if I smell lavender or coffee. When I smell the rind, I smell coffee. Smells good. Ooh, there's coffee. This one could be a good cheese on like a French toast or like a Monte Carlo. It's very subtle. That's good. Okay. Let me get a piece of that rind. I don't taste much of in the way of lavender, but coffee with cheese tastes amazing. I know that's a combination in some countries, but yeah, this is great with the rind. Even better. This one, I don't taste the lavender, but for coffee cheese, I give it an 8. Now, if I was like, oh, I want lavender, I would probably knock it down. I don't really care too much for the lavender flavor, if anything, so I'm happy with it. But if you want it for lavender flavor, there's really I can't taste lavender at all. So next, and I have a lot of theories. We're going to do lots of parts with these, so we're down to 2 cheeses. I want to talk about my last theory that we have for today. So my last theory that I want to talk about is Christianity. Once again, as I said, I like to ask why, like, if there's something we're not supposed to follow, I'll ask, you know, what is it that we're following for, blah, blah. On top of that, once again, I go into the opposite side. You know, what is it that they're against and why? So with Christianity, often wondered why they're against the things that they're against. And because it's a mass form of control, they don't want you to know that you have the ability to do these things that God can do. And while you can't control everything the way that God apparently can, you can have better control on what happens in your universe. So my belief is that the government and people. So I also believe that there's a group. I believe America is a cryptocracy. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but what that is a shadow government. Essentially, a government that's backed by hidden individuals who are very wealthy and blah blah. America has always been that since day one. Even our founding fathers had like people backing them up financially. And that's pretty much who's been running the U.S. since. You know, then we get into Rockefeller and all these Andrew Carnegie and things. So my belief with that is that they've used Christianity. They've used Christianity to gain control over people and demonize the things that they've taken from the indigenous tribes and demonize it so they can use it because they recognize the power within the occult magic and they label it occult magic when it's just, you know, indigenous practices and they're sacred practices, but they've taken their practices and learned them and used them for bad things, and then they turn around and say, hey, don't do these because this is demonic things. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, they're doing said demonic things. You know, you can find that with Hollywood, you can find that with the government, all that stuff. And you find the people who are the richest people, they're involved in the government. So, yeah. Next cheese is some like it Hatch. Cheddar cheese rubbed with Hatch chilies. And here's the other thing is these are just rubbed cheeses. So, once again, not high quality. The cheese is good itself. Ooh, there's some Hatch chili in here. But they could have more flavor if you ask me, but we'll see. This one looks promising. It smells good. It smells like... It smells good. I'd put this on my tacos or something. Okay. Yeah. That is good. That tastes some good on some refried beans or something. I give this an 8. It's really good. I had low expectations when I keep reading rubbed. I was like, eh. But anyway, if you know my story, I grew up Mormon. And when I was like, oh God, I don't know how old I was, maybe 10, maybe 9, I got these witchcraft books from the library. I love reading. And as a kid, I would just like shovel down books. It was an escape from what I was dealing with. So I went to the book, got some library. I went to the library and got some books on witchcraft. And then I got in trouble and got them taken away, got grounded. And then when I left my home at 17, I decided to drop all that shenanigans. I didn't really much believe in the church, but I still had to practice and follow those rules. And through that time, I decided, you know, when I left, I wasn't going to practice this anymore. And when I turned 17, 18, I decided I'm not going to live my life based off of there being a God. You know, if I'm a good person, then God will be like, right, you did good. If there's no God, then at least I was a good person. So, as I became an adult, I've learned witchcraft and I've understood that it's nothing but herbal medicine and healing with crystals and things like that of indigenous beliefs and sacred beliefs. You know, some of this could come from people of Irish background and stuff like that. I don't know exactly all spiritual practice belief roots, okay? But yeah, I do believe that with that, they've stolen these practices and have told people that they're demonic and whatnot and not to do them, because blood sacrifice is like a really strong thing, and if that happened, then people would probably be killing each other left and right. But is it any worse than the government employing people to kill a whole bunch of people in another country? I don't know. So in my mind, I think they tell us not to do one thing, and I'm like, why? And I look at what they're telling us not to do, and I look at what's good about it, like marijuana, for instance. And I think the same thing about LSD. I took LSD, and it's helped me through a lot of things. Helped me through body dysmorphia, helped me with my anxiety, healing from a lot of trauma that I went through as a kid. Just things with my mental illness and everything. So, yeah. And of course, those things are illegal, but there are things that are illegal for a good reason, meth and things like that. But, yeah, that's kind of my belief. And it might not just be the government, but we've come to realize that people in power are very fastly becoming corrupt. When I was talking with my TikTok people, asking, like, damn, like, if we were all billionaires, I feel like we'd be helping people. And I think you don't become a billionaire by helping people. You become a billionaire by hoarding and taking and exploiting. Because if I was a billionaire, I would naturally be giving that money to a lot of people who need it, and then very shortly would no longer be a billionaire. So it kind of makes sense in that sense. But we all know Steve Jobs and all those people, they went on ayahuasca retreats, they did, the psychedelics and whatnot, meditation, and they believe in these spiritual practices, but then they shun them. They tell people not to do them. Blah, blah, you'll get rich by working hard, the brainwashing. And I believe all the typical things that, conspiracy theorists believe, where school is not good. I was a great student, but I don't remember shit that I remembered in school. And now I'm having to relearn a lot of things, which is just herbal medicine and how finances work in the real life. But yeah, that's one of my favorite theories, because when I was tripping, I thought of that, and I was like, Like, I've never had a problem with witchcraft. Nothing bad has happened to me. In fact, good has only happened to me. And I know the upper people in Hollywood are involved in occultism. So I think they really press this idea of Christianity, because if people really knew what kind of power they could have, I don't know if it would be good or bad. But what I do know is that the people who do know about it are using it for bad. So, who knows? And I guess that's where, we fall back into the theory of people of color helping raise the vibration of the planet, because, white people have really whitewashed everything, including food, back to the parasites. One of my beliefs, conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, is that because Columbus came over, because we stripped the sanctity and the sacredness of food, the plants, the medicine coming from the earth itself, like, they just desecrated it, and have no honor when it comes to doing any of that stuff. Like, they're doing it out of malicious intent and to dominate and wreak havoc, and nothing good truly. And they take these practices and they make it their own, and these practices were a thing for a reason. They were the way they were because they were taught to them by shamanistic people or spiritual people who learned these from a source above or from someone that foolproofed it. And then you have white people coming in who think they're the best thing ever, and then they're fucking around with foods, and they're fucking around with medicines and stuff like that, making synthetic medicines, which is making people worse. So they have literally just turned all this sacred holiness that the planet we live on into just, and I don't want to say that's anything to do with skin color, really, but when you go to the root of it, but we all know what kind of hatred happens with skin color nowadays anyway, so I'm not going to be blind to that either. I feel like through what I've learned with these parasite cleanses, we're going to wrap it up here, but we got one more cheese to try, that you're supposed to deworm once a month. And on top of deworming, they, in their cultural practices and religious practices, fast, which starves those enzymes and stuff that the parasites feed off of, and whatever food the parasites feed off of. It can help, and it helps kick your body into like restoring mode, is what they believe. So, other cultures and religions promote fasting once a month. They promote, eating certain foods in other cultures, like Asian cultures. You find them eating lots of ginger, wasabi, bamboo, cucumber, things like that are very good for parasite cleanses. Garlic, chili, gochujang, cabbage, fermented foods. You'll find in India they do similar. They eat lots of spiced foods that are good for parasite cleanses and inflammation, healing your gut, things like that. Anywho, so from what I've read through that, I've formed this belief that America has really just whitewashed everything, and they've ruined the sacredness of food because they've really stripped the sacredness from everything, because they took it from people. And the indigenous people they've known this, of course they've known this. This is white revelation, okay? Welcome to it. But through this time I've thought, damn, they know the keys to the planet, and like maybe they've evolved to not like as a collective, I would say. And because the white people have stripped the sanctity of food, and I'm not saying that they don't have fried foods in other countries, okay, but even Mexican food, raw onions, cilantro, lots of herbs and stuff, that's very good for you, very good for parasites and everything like that. And because Americans don't really thoroughly practice fasting, and they don't practice eating healthy most usually, and they're not very aware of parasites in general. I did not know this. I'm 28. I did not know. So, through this parasite cleanse, it's really opened my eyes. Now, I've had this theory about other races being, involved. I've had that theory for a couple years, too, maybe 4 years actually now. I actually came upon that theory when I was tripping on acid. So, there's my theories for the day. We have our last cheese. It's called Seriously Sharp Cheddar. This is actually one of my favorites. I eat this all the time. Surprisingly, the Gloucester has more of a cheddar flavor than this one does, now that I taste it. This is wildly flavored. It's okay flavored. Anyway, there's our cheese haul. And I promise you guys, the cheese tax will be paid, and we will pay it. So let's get the cheese tax going. Cutty cut. And if you want to tune in, I will be doing this more frequently, not just with cheeses, with different foods. Because I like food, and I like to talk and have something to do with my hands, so we're going to do that. But cheese tax time, here we go. And thanks for watching just my nonsense videos. I appreciate you guys. We got this guy. Hey, beef. Cheese tax. Loading. Cheese slap. Spit of cheese. Shredder! Shredder! Here comes the cheddar cheese, a cheesy boy. Hi! You want some cheese? Cheddar. Oh, good boy. Oh, he's so cute. The cheese tax has been paid. Oh, is that good, Spreader? He loves cheese. Is that good? Yeah, we'll do another. Gentle. 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 Good boy. Sweater. Itchy. Spudgy. Oops. Odin. Beef, go on. Go on. Get out of here. Go on, Beef. Beef, move. Move. Odin. Gentle, please. Never mind. Cheese tax has been paid. It's on your face. Okay. I can't get it. Spudgy. Spudgy. Oops. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. Until next time, we'll talk about more conspiracy theories. We discovered quite a few on my Twitch. So, until next time, I shall bid you adieu. I love you. You're beautiful. Don't forget to hydrate and eat. You deserve to. And you're wonderful. Okay. Bye bye.